Hello, Blue Jay fans! Welcome to another edition of Talkin' Jays. I am your host, George Zong, and today's episode, we are going to talk about the 13-man pitching staff that I think will break camp and head north with the Blue Jays. We talked yesterday's podcast about the 40-man roster. We're going to take a look at the 40-man roster again here, and just take a look at the pitching staff here. We'll just scroll up here. And you can see here, you got Barecki, Tyler Chatwood, Rafael Dolis, Thomas Hatch, Anthony Kay, Elvis Luciano, Stephen Match, Julian Merriweather, Patrick Murphy, Nate Pearson, David Price, Robbie Ray, Tanner Rourke, Jordan Romano, Hyunjin Ryu, Ross Stripling, Trent Thornton, and then got Ty Tice, Jacob Wagasback, Kirby Yates, and T.J. Zoick. There's a list of about 21 pitchers, I believe, that was there. Only 13 pitchers will head north with the Blue Jays, and that's not including non-roster invitees like Francisco Liriano, A.J. Cole, Tim Meza. Those players have a outside chance of making it to the pitching staff. So let's take a look at the rotation, who I think might be the rotation. So no doubt in anybody's mind who the ace is going to be, and that's going to be Hyunjin Ryu. Obviously, he is the number one. He should have been number one in postseason play last year. Don't even get me started on that little Timbit. I got to turn something off here. 1 second. All right. Wasn't counting on that. Yeah, so don't even get me started on Hyunjin. He should have been the number one opening day starter in that postseason. Wasn't. I talked about it in the offseason earlier about it's a mindset with players. I believe they started with Shoemaker in game one against Ryu. They wanted to give him that extra day's rest. He said he didn't need it. Team felt like they did need it. He did what the team asked. It's just a different mindset when you go out take the ball field with your ace, knowing that you got Hyunjin on the mound. The season that he had last year, I just think the body language was off when he wasn't the game one starter. And hopefully they learned that valuable lesson that right now Hyunjin is your best chance of winning a ball game. And always respect your opponent, but don't dilly from your game plan. Like if he's your ace, he's your ace. So, I think they gave Tampa Bay too much credit. Don't give your opponents too much credit. Stick to your game plan. Stick to what works for you, what gives you the best chance of winning. Like I said, always respect your opponents because, Tampa Bay is good. They know how to play the game. But you can't change your game plan to what Tampa Bay is. You just can't, and they did. And to me, I'm not going to say it cost them. I think there are still boys playing against men, but different mindset. And I think you'll see a different mindset this season when they get to the postseason. And yes, they're going to get to the postseason. Mark my words, they will get there. The number 2 pitcher on the Blue Jays, Nate Pearson. And number 3, Robbie Ray. You can flip-flop them all you want. To me, Nate Pearson is your horse now. He's your guy, besides Hyunjin. He's your guy that they're going to heavily lean on. I like Robbie Ray. I like that sign. I talked about it last night in last night's episode of the podcast. I would have preferred Taijuan Walker, but I prefer Robbie Ray over Shoemaker on that signing. So, good job there to re-sign him and just give us another arm. To go along with Tanner Rourke, who I believe is going to be in your rotation this year. I know he had a horrible season last year. Didn't pitch very well at all. I think he'll bounce back a little better this year. And if not, I think if he's pitching the same performance that he pitched last season, I think you'll see them cut bait, mid-season, maybe by the trade deadline, get some value out of that $11 million contract that's left there. And this is the last year of it. So, if they can get $7 million value and then, they're going to lose $5 million, if they do release him. And that's very possible that they might. So, and the other guy that's going to round out your rotation is Stephen Matz. Picked him up from the Mets this past season. Gives him another arm in the rotation. So that's your 5 stars. Who I think is going to go north with the team. And actually, they're not going north. They're going to be staying right in Dunedin. I just heard that the other day that they're going to be playing their home games there. So this is the rotation that's going to start the season. I'll wager any money this is not going to be the rotation by the end of the season. So that's what you got there. So that's your 5 starters. Let's take a look at some of the bullpen pieces that I think will be with the Blue Jays this season, part of their 13-man staff. So we'll start in the back end with with Kirby Yates, Rafael Dolis, and Jordan Romano. Now these 3 pitchers, Kirby Yates especially in 2019 was like lights out. He was I think top 10 in the voting for the Cy Young. He had a monster season. Not so much last year. Injury, fighting some bone spurs in his elbow. But I think he's going to bounce back. That's an injury that I did some investigating on. That you can bounce back from it. Tanaka with the Yankees. He had that bone type of surgery, same as Kirby Yates did, and he bounced back. And the next season, and he had like a top 10 finish in the Cy Young votes. So he's going to bounce back, I believe. Rafael Dolis and Jordan Romano had good seasons last year. They're going to be manning the back end of the pen, high leverage situations. Romano was excellent in those high leverage situations last year. And Dolis started a little slow. He had to get his feet wet a bit, but I thought the second half he was just great. David Phelps is going to be in that pen, I believe, this year. They signed him to a free agent contract. So nice pickup, good experience. You're going to like him. I love how he carries himself on the mound. Doesn't get rattled, so he's a good presence in the bullpen. Along with Borecki. Borecki handled himself really well last year. Talk about maybe he goes back to become a starter. They may send him to AAA at the start of camp and just lengthen him out. But I really think he's found a home in the bullpen, and I think that's where he belongs. Gives you a weapon in that pen, and we all know the game now is out of the pen. So he gives you piggyback. If you start Ryu, you can piggyback him right after Ryu or Nate Pearson or anything like that. Because just nowadays, starters don't go long. They're going 4, possibly 5 innings. And then you need a little bit of length out of the, between those 4 and 7 innings, those 3 innings. And Borecki's a guy that can come in there. Also, this guy here, Ross Stripling, same idea. Piggyback off of Ryu. Off of Robbie Ray, things like that. Robbie Ray, hard lefty, Ross Stripling, soft righty. So that'd be a nice little difference of speed in the same game, piggyback, and you can get 3 innings of Stripling in games. And like I said, that's what the game is at these days. You need some length out of your bullpen, and nothing. And then this guy right here will give you length out of the bullpen because he did a lot of starting for the Cubs over the years. His best numbers for the last 3 years have been out of the bullpen. So I believe that's where he'll be at again this year, out of the pen. And they're going to stick with those other 5 guys to start. If somebody goes down, then Tyler Chatwood can maybe slide into the fifth spot, or even Ross Stripling can slide in there. And then I was debating on who this 8th person in the bullpen will be. They have a lot of choices, from Anthony Kay, Merriweather, Hatch, any one of those guys. Elvis Luciano, guys like that can come in and pitch. And I think this guy right here would be my bullpen guy to come in. I thought he did a great job with the bullpen in the bullpen last season. He would be the guy that I would lean on to make that spot in the bullpen. So these can change. We'll see what happens during spring training. But this is the pitching staff that I would throw together right now if I had a gun to my head. And somebody said, put your best pitching staff together from the Blue Jays right now. This would be the staff that I would go with. And I think they can get some wins on the board. So we'll take a look at some of the other pitchers who are on the outside looking in. Thomas Hatch. I truly believe the Blue Jays want him to be a starter. I think they will start him in AAA, get some length out of him. You'll see him come up, within the first 2 months and starting a game. I can't see him not. There's going to be injuries and things like that. So. Another person, Anthony Kay, they're going to want him to be a starter. These kids are young. These are still young guys. So, they need a year under their belt for the AAA, becoming starters, stretched out, and just go from there. Along with Trent Thornton, thought he was rushed into the season in 2019 just due to injuries. He had to jump on board and get in the mound, and don't think he was ready. He did well, but well doesn't cut it. We're looking for excellence. I hate when teams settle for mediocrity. Always strive for excellence. And Trent Thornton, to me, if he's in your rotation, it's not of excellence. And he can get his game there. And when I mean excellence, I mean the best that you can get out of a particular player. Trent Thornton is not going to be like a Scherzer or anybody like that, but Trent Thornton can be the best version of Trent Thornton with a little bit of seasoning in the minors. And that's what I'm talking about, excellence. You need these guys to perform at the top of their game, not the top of what we think is their game, but at the top of their game. And these guys, these kids here, they have room to grow. They really do. Another one, Elvis Luciano, the 20-year-old kid. He pitched 2 years ago with the Jays. They had to pitch because they picked him up off of waivers. He had to stay on the 40-man for the whole season. If not, he went back to Kansas City. They decided to keep him. They weren't going nowhere, so they kept him. This guy has a bright future, I believe, with the Blue Jays. He did go down the winter ball this year and threw a bunch of games. I'm going to dive more into Elvis a little later on because I'm going to do some player profiles until opening day. I'm going to do two a day. That's my plan, and I'll send it out on a podcast. One pitcher, one position player, and I'll do two of those players per episode, and right up into opening day. So we can get a real good take of who these players are, what they can bring to the team, and things like that. Another player, TJ Zoick. I don't think he'll make the roster this year, but he's been up and down the last 2 years. He will be up and down again this year. I'm not sure what he has for options left, so I didn't check into that. So hopefully he has another option. He's born in '95, so that makes him 25. So around there. So he's still young. So he's 6'7", 245. So we like them. Couple players that are on the outside looking way in because they're not these next four that I'm going to post aren't on the 40-man. The ones above were on the 40-man. So you got movement with those players. But AJ Cole, in order for him to make the squad, we have to boot somebody off the 40-man, send him through waivers to find a spot for Cole. I know Piamps got selected he went through waivers and got reacquired by Red Sox. So there is one spot open. And I believe that spot is going to be for Joe Panik, but there will have to be another spot for AJ Cole if he makes the squad. Another pitcher, Francisco Liriano, outside looking in, can't see it making the pitching staff. That's why I didn't include him. Too many balls out of the relief. I'm trying to blank here. Too many balls out of the relief corps is not good. So too many walks. You can't have those walks late in the innings after 6, 7, 8 innings, things like that. So to me, he's a no-go for me. Can't see him making it. Same Anthony Castro was picked up on waivers from Detroit. He's a non-roster invitee, and along with Tim Meza. Now Tim Meza has possibility of making this team, and you might see he might take the place of a Jacob Wagasback or something like that. They might have to put waivers on Wagasback, and that'll open up a spot for Tim Meza. So that's what you got there as what I think is your rotation and bullpen. We got Ryu, Pearson, Robbie Ray, Tanner Rourke, and Steven Matt. I believe that's going to be a rotation heading into the season as long as everybody is healthy. And the bullpen, I know is going to be Kirby Yates, and I believe it's going to be Dolis, Romano, David Phelps, Ryan Barecki, Ross Stripling, Tyler Chatwood, and Julian Merriweather. Merriweather, that 8th spot, I don't know what the Blue Jays are going to do, but I believe those 7 are etched in stone. I think that'll be your 7 in the bullpen. But we shall see. We don't know who's going to have good springs, bad springs, and things like that. This could all change on opening day and things like that. So thanks. Whoa, what's the wrong one? Thanks for listening. Don't forget, Sunday, February 28th, I'm going to go live, 8 p.m., and we're going to talk about the first spring training game of the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees. So come join me live. We'll get a nice little debate going, some conversation going, and things like that. So thank you for listening, boys and girls, and I will see you later.